This is David Malton from Santan Valley News. I'm here with Tom Bearup, who is running with for sheriff of Pinal County. Tom,
Good to see you.
good to meet you.
I just wanted to tell you a little bit about myself, if I could. I've been married to my wife for 36 years, and I have 9 children and 31 grandkids, and we were just excited to have the opportunity to run for this position as sheriff. Naturally, it's an open position because the current sheriff has decided to go ahead and run for Congress.
Right.
And so that changes the whole scenario. I'm not running against any particular person. I am running for an open seat. And I believe that I'm going to bring the qualities that it's going to take to lead an agency the size of Pinal County Sheriff's Office.
Okay. What are some of the first things that you would do as sheriff?
Well, number one, I need to probably stop and bring people up from the ground that are within the sheriff's office today, rather than bring a whole bunch of people from outside that don't know anything about the Pinal County Sheriff's Office. I want to look, and my goal is to talk to every employee in that in the sheriff's office. I want to see the quality of the people. This community has invested millions of dollars in the people that serve in law enforcement here. Why not take those people, see what their dreams and visions are, see what they have to offer, because we've already paid for their training,
Right.
we've paid for them for a number of years. Why not capitalize on what is already there at this point in time? In addition to that, what I want to do, I want to make sure that we look at every aspect of the sheriff's office, look at the budget, see any areas that we could trim.
Gotcha.
We
Okay.
need to make sure that what we're doing there is efficient and accurate. We need to be doing a job just as much of watching where we spend our money as a businessman that is earning a living from that. We are here also to serve the community. We are public servants, we're peace officers, and our responsibility is to those that we serve, period. In addition to that, the sheriff has unique responsibilities, if you will, because unlike a lot of cities, the sheriff is responsible for the jails. We like to say, you know, it's great to lock people up, get them off the streets and stuff, but those same people that have committed crimes get an education in jail in a negative fashion in a lot of cases.
Right.
They go right back out on the street. My attitude about success is not how big of a jail that I have, how many people I'm incarcerating. It's how many do I keep from coming back. Recidivism at 65 to 75% is unacceptable.
So what in the jails would you change to change that?
Well, I think that I would open up for more educational opportunities for people. I would like to open up different avenues for religious organizations to come in and talk with the people, not only the inmates themselves, but to work with families, adopt a family, if you will. That inmate's going back out to the same place that he was in before. How do we change it?
So AA, NA, Christian programs,
All
you
of
bring,
those
let those all
programs.
back in.
All of those programs, because I truly believe these types of programs have effectiveness that not only change somebody that is incarcerated, but change their lives forever.
Now I know a lot of inmates, when they do get in, they don't have an education. That was part of the problem. They probably got them there in the first place. Programs, schooling like GED, programs, stuff like that, would you allow those into?
GED, I think it's important that people have an opportunity. They've got some time on their hands. Idle minds create problems.
Right.
So the more that I can do to help them prepare themselves to get back out on the street with their families, and hopefully they'll be able to provide better without being involved in criminal activity by having a little self-confidence.
Right.
Just earning a GED can give somebody something that of value.
Make a difference.
It's a tangible asset that can say, you know, I'm not a quitter, I made it through this.
Right, gives them a little something when they get out, saying I didn't waste this time.
Exactly.
So,
I utilized my time and improved myself.
right.
When they walk out of there, and let me tell you, I've seen this many, many times. They're in jail. They're getting their graduation certificate. You can see pride in their step as they go forward. Now when they come out, they have a different mentality. For the first time in their life, they probably have accomplished something and completed it. Because of peer pressure, because of failures on their part, a lack of confidence in completing the job. But now they're walking out of there and they're saying, man, I did it.
Right.
Now somebody that has a college degree might look at that and say, well, you know, that's nothing. But to them,
It's a big deal.
big deal.
Big deal. Especially now that they go to fill out that job application, they can say, hey, high school equivalent or diploma, and really have it.
That's exactly it. Now the other thing is too, there are people that are concerned about people, and I'm not talking about bleeding hearts to say, oh, the poor little boy had this problem or this problem, because as adults that we typically deal with, they make choices. And those choices can either be good or they can be bad. Those choices are choices that you have to make every day and I have to make. You and I could get together and decide that we want to go down to the corner bank and rob it. There's consequences to that action.
Right.
So what we want to do is to be able to show them that those consequences are not worth coming back to jail.
Or unprofitable.
It should not be a place where you want to come back to, but it shouldn't be a place that you go and die either for a misdemeanor or a felony, for something that you did that was stupid. What, on the other hand, it needs to be a lesson that you don't want to come back here
Right.
again. You make a conscious effort to say, man, I am out of here. When I get out of here, I want to do something better in my life. Now sometimes people don't ever think in that direction because they've never set a goal in their life. That's why the educational part of it, the GED, the ministry part of it, those things are very, very important for people to be able to have something tangible in their hand. To tell mom and dad when I get out, you know,
I'm really trying to change.
I made a mistake and I really am trying to change. And then have a support system, not from me, but from people that we allow to come in, to minister to them, to work with their families and things like that. I think that that can change a lot.
So you're going to let basically let some of these organizations put in place maybe like a halfway houses, you know, be able to get the inmates the information they need for the way out.
Not only that, but I think another step is whenever, let's give an example, whenever people are incarcerated and they're married, they have children. In today's society, a lot of the men and women have jobs. Well, when Papa goes to jail, we've lost half of our income, or even in some cases 3/4, or possibly all of the income.
Right.
Now, we have a little challenge on our hands, because if Mama does not have a job, if she can't get a job, and she's got a bunch of kids, where's she going for help? She's going to become involved in the welfare system, which is something that becomes somewhat demeaning to people, and there's no growth, upward progress. So what I would like to do is to have churches or other organizations adopt this family,
Okay.
to help them during that time, not only ministering inside the jail to this individual, but also ministering to the family. And as they come together, all of a sudden they're all learning different things.
Right.
They're all growing. They're all changing, basically at the same time. Mama learns how to maybe be a better wife.
Right.
Dad learns how to be a better husband. And a lot of times there's drugs and alcohol and other abuses
Right.
that are there, and they're learning how to cope with that with life without utilizing those things.
Gotcha.
Or if they do drink, that they drink responsibly. If they choose to have a beer, I happen to be a Christian man, but some people choose to have a beer.
Mhm.
As long as they don't break the law and get out and drive drunk, they don't have a problem with me at all.
So basically, we're going to set up responsibility on both ends.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's going to be accountability. How to be accountable for your actions. All of us are accountable for our actions.
Right.
But the problem today is you get people in leadership positions, they think that they're above the law.
Right.
And they do things that, and then kids sit back, and whenever somebody lies that is a public figure, and it seems that they're rewarded.
Yeah, if that example is doing something that, yeah, gotcha.
That's why I don't think I have the answer to everything, but I believe that I have the ability to lead. I believe that I have the ability to be able to go and take people and show by example that I can walk that talk.
Right.
That I am a man of integrity and honesty. Now, have I made mistakes? You bet. Thank God that we can be forgiven.
Right. Gotcha.
On the other hand, I think it's so important, David, that the community, especially in this county, we have a lot of jails and we have a lot of prisons. A lot of families are affected by one of their family members going to prison or going to jail. There's a lot of negatives that come out of that. There's a lot of people that come to visit their loved ones that are incarcerated that have never committed a crime, and they're treated as though they have committed a crime.
Right.
I want to eliminate that kind of thing. I want to get back to the public service. I want to get back to the fact that, and most of the people I think that work in the county sheriff's office has that desire to do the right thing. There are people in any profession that go overboard.
Right.
I don't tolerate that at all.
Okay, let's go to a different subject.
Okay.
You've been in the military?
I have.
Right. Let's hear a little bit about that.
Served honorably during the Vietnam War. Never went to Vietnam, but I was a Vietnam era veteran.
Mm-hmm.
Served 3 years, and my last year was in the Republic of South Korea. I have been involved in many, many things over the years. I'm proud to be an American. I'm proud that I served my country.
Constitutionalist, right?
Constitutionalist, yes.
Gotcha.
I swore to protect this country. And as a peace officer, that's the same responsibility, is to protect and uphold the laws of the municipality that you work with, the local, state, and federal laws. The Constitution is something that people are eroding rapidly in this country. They're stealing the
Right.
vision that our forefathers gave for this country. They were willing to put their lives on the line to sign a document that gave us all freedoms that people want to take away from us today. I want to get back to the basics of the sheriff being the constitutional sheriff of a county. The responsibility is to uphold the laws, but the sheriff is the only elected official that can put people in jail, and we have a responsibility as the sheriff to do our job in a constitutional way.
Gotcha. That's good. We need that here.
I believe that, and I think that it's important. And yes, it's easy to say the Constitution and use those words, but to walk it and talk it and do it, two different things.
So here let me throw a what if out there. We know that Obama is obliterating our Constitution. And, there's rumors that if he gets a second term, that he's going to take our right to bear arms away. If an order came down the line saying you need to go and take guns from citizens, what would you do?
I would not do that, because the federal government has no control over me as the elected sheriff of this county. my position, very frankly, is that I'm a proponent of the Second Amendment. I encourage people that are good citizens to protect themselves. Now, if you abuse that opportunity that you have, or that right in this country, that is constitutional, not just something that we thought up and threw out there. This is the law of the land, that we have that right in this country.
Right.
Other countries, they don't have that. But there's responsibility that comes with that. As a law enforcement person, if I fire my weapon, I am trained to be observant of everything around me. Because there is a liability that comes with that if that round that I fired goes astray. And then we got a challenge on our hands. So I believe that people need to be responsible, handle their weapons in a safe manner, and if they find themselves in that position, does everything lawfully.
Now, are you an oath keeper?
I am not an oath keeper in the sense of the organization oath
Okay.
keeper. I'm an oath keeper because I made a promise to God.
Gotcha. Okay. Immigration. It's a hot topic. We've got a lot of drugs coming in up through Mexico, through the Pinal County area. We've seen what the current sheriff's trying to do about it. What do you think needs to change, or what would you do about immigration and the drugs coming through?
Well, there's two different issues that I see. Drugs and guns are being run through this county as a conduit to other areas of this country. Those are major, major issues to me because they are immediate problems. On the other hand, the illegality of people being in this country illegally, and the old saying is, what don't we understand about illegal? Illegal is illegal. You are not here. Now, my thoughts are simply this. I'm going to run down the gun runners and the human smugglers and all of these people. In the course of my activities as far as illegal immigrants, I'm not going to go circle the wagons and if I have a town, if I get somebody that calls me and makes a complaint, there's illegal activity going on, my resources are so limited that I will send a deputy out there and take care of whatever it is. If we find people that are illegally in this country, they will have to be arrested and they will be incarcerated and turned over to the federal government to be deported. In addition to that, I have the federal government is not doing their job
No, they're not.
in this, and we need to do something about that. Now, if our congressmen or elected officials in Washington would get their act together, then we wouldn't have it. My concern is who's coming across that border.
Right.
And I know the feeling of a young couple that's trying to get across there to take care of their family and stuff like that. It's still illegal to be in this country. If you came here on a visa legally and your visa has expired, you are now illegal in this country and you need to leave. If I went to Mexico illegally, I would go to jail.
Right.
And it's not a jail that you're going to be real comfortable in. On the other hand, I understand that compassionate side, the argument, but the bottom line is this. There is a legal way to enter this country, and people need to do that. If there is a problem in their country, and I've said this to many, many people from different countries, go back to your country and fight it to the point that you change the system there. If there's corruption there, then fight that. Stand up.
Right.
Do what we did in America to get the rights that we have. If there is people in need here, I spoke with a farmer not too long ago. I said, Tom, I've had people that have been working at my farm for years and years and years. They have never had one problem with the law. But then whenever Senate Bill 1070 came in, it became very apparent that I had to do something. I spent $300,000 getting my people the papers that they needed to be here. The government came back to me and fined me in excess of $500,000 because I hadn't done it properly to begin with.
Wow.
He says, rather than continue to put the $20 million into this economy that I put in every year, I shut my farm down. That's where I'm against big government coming in and controlling things like that. On the other hand, we need to teach our people, or the people that are here, if you are illegally in this country, you need to go home. If law enforcement comes along, if I make a traffic stop on you, just like any progression, if I found out that you were lying to me, if I found out that you had a warrant, if I find out that I can't identify who you are, it is incumbent upon me to take it another step further.
Right.
There is no profiling with me. I don't care if you're black, white, green, or yellow. If you're violating the law and it comes to my attention in any fashion, then I'm going to deal with that.
That's what you're supposed to do.
That's what I'm called to do.
Now, you had an interesting idea about how to patrol our valleys here for the drugs coming in. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I think that we have a tremendous amount of resources. When I was the Chief Executive Officer of the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, I was instrumental in starting what we call the executive posse, which became very popular. There's a lot of people in the community, law-abiding citizens, that want to participate somewhere. So I started a program of reaching out to these very successful people and capitalizing on their abilities to do things.
Okay.
And the same thing I would do down here. As I was speaking to a farmer again the other day, he mentioned the fact that he liked to fly. And so the thought came to my mind, rather than spend all these resources, because we're over budget, all these resources in one targeted area, 24/7 or whatever we're doing, why don't we capitalize on people that are citizens that have the ability to fly, that enjoy flying?
Right.
And they can be eyes and ears, and they can have radio communication with our ground units or with our dispatch, and they would be able to go and to tell us that there's bad guys out there, there's drug runners, there's gun runners, there's people out there
People
that don't
carrying
go.
backpacks.
That's right.
Kind of a sheriff air corps.
And that's exactly what it would be. It would be a sheriff's posse, an air posse. What's wrong with that?
Nothing
Not
wrong.
only would they be able to save us dollars and valuable resources of a trained deputy sitting out there in the desert. Now, I'm not saying take everybody out. I'm saying not having as a congested area of law enforcement people, and utilizing the resources that we have, putting those deputies back into the areas that are unprotected now. And they are. And in addition to that, I think we have the ability to be able to capitalize on business people that are here that might be able to be additional eyes and ears for us. And that comes back to the community involvement in law enforcement. If I develop a rapport, in the old days, the beat cop knew everybody on the block.
Right.
And whenever there was a crime that was committed, everybody came to him and said, hey, Johnny did it.
This is what happened, and this is who did it.
And that's what we call intelligence. But we don't get out of our cars anymore. We don't go up to the guy down in the little Circle K, other than going in to get a cup of coffee or something like that. Hey, how are you? And really getting to know those people. And by getting to know them, you never know what kind of information you're going to get out of there, because these are people that see things going on all the time.
Right.
As I indicated earlier in my remarks, America's Most Wanted is successful for some reason.
Right.
They have been so successful, they've captured over 1,000, maybe 1,400 people.
So America's Most Wanted.
The America's Most Wanted, some of the most vile people that have been out there. And yet what happens is this. Through a television program, you get people that want to pick up the phone and say, hey, I saw that guy, or here's a lead. I want to develop Pinal County's Most Wanted.
Right. I know on our website we actually have a section for the sheriff. That anything that you guys post on the Pinal County website as far as Most Wanted or looking or whatever, it automatically gets populated to our website.
Right.
And I think if more people got involved that way, it would help tremendously.
We have to work with the media. We have to work with the community. This is a high-tech society, so we have to utilize every ounce of technology that we can get our hands on in crime fighting today. Some of these people are carrying big guns with them. I want to be able to capture intelligence of where they're at, who they are, and where they're going. And I want to effect an arrest on them and not compromising our position of safety for our officers and deputies, but to go and protect that community, because these people are coming here not wanting to have a birthday party. They're coming here to do damage.
Right. All right. Any last words?
I just want to thank you for the opportunity. I ask people to consider me. I am going to be the next sheriff of this county.
Do you have a website address?
I have a website at www.tombearup.com.
TomBearup.com. Okay.
It's in the process of being activated at this point, but that's what it's going to be. My personal telephone number is 520-560-0336, or my email is tombearup, TOMBEARUP, @cox.net.
All right. Well, this is Tom Barrett. Thank you very much for coming and doing an interview with us. And this is Dave Malton at Santan Valley News.